Hello, everyone. We're about to get started in a few minutes, but before we get started, I just want to let everyone know that I am Derek Dingle. I'm the Executive Vice President and Chief Content Officer for Black Enterprise. And before we have our speaker come to the stage, I'd just like to say, one, I truly appreciate your patience. We also deeply appreciate that you have come out to our Entrepreneurs Summit today. We are going to provide you throughout today and tomorrow with practical information that will help you, as well as stories of inspirations from our entrepreneurs. One thing I would also like to say is that I'm going to give you my email address. And the reason I'm going to do that is I can't promise that we will cover all of you, but we're always looking for stories that we can share with our audience of entrepreneurs who are starting their business, who are having challenges and overcame their challenges. So my email address is dingled, D-I-N-G-L-E-D, @blackenterprise.com. And please share with me your information, who you are, your business, and what is your secret source of your business. So, and I always look forward to hearing from other entrepreneurs, because I myself, beyond Black Enterprise, I have a business as well. We all have to have our side hustles. So, without any further delay, we have an amazing speaker with us today, and this panel is extremely, extremely important. I'm going to take a couple of minutes in terms of introduction, but we're going to get right into it. Over the last 2 years, what came out of the George Floyd tragedy was corporations stepping up and saying that they wanted to eradicate the inequities, systemic inequities that African Americans have faced. We all know, and you know this personally, that our businesses have been challenged. As a result, there's been corporate commitments, and among those corporate commitments is to increase the flow of procurement opportunities. That's why this procurement equity panel, getting the benefits of certification, is so important. We're talking about access to millions of dollars, in contracts, but you cannot even engage in the process without certification. The National Minority Supplier Development Council, which is at this point is celebrating their 50 years of supporting programming and growth opportunities for African American, Asian, Indian, Asian Pacific, Hispanic, and Native American communities, has more than 15,000 MBEs and 1,500 corporate members in its network. And those corporate members are seeking entrepreneurs to engage in contracting. Last week, NMSDC, they had their economic forum, and their new president talked about a $1 trillion initiative that they have. They are seeking to get contracting to minority and women-owned businesses in the order of $1 trillion. So that's access to a lot of opportunities and a lot of potential opportunities. But I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about certification. I am going to present Constance Yvonne Jones, Senior Director, Field Services for the National Minority Supplier Development Council, or known as NMSDC, one of Black Enterprise's major partners. And Constance, as you will find, is extremely passionate about advocating for business, about educating entrepreneurs, and about helping you advance your business through contracting. So without any further delay, I'm going to have Constance come to the stage, and as such, let's give her a rousing round of applause and listen to the information she has to share.
Thank you so much, Derek. It's a pleasure. Good morning, everyone. Just trying to still check that clock. As Derek mentioned, I am Constance Jones, Senior Director of Field Services for NMSDC. What that means to you is I'm actually responsible for our entire network and the basis of certification. So we're going to go through what's the hoopla about certification? And we're going to debunk some of the myths that are out there about why we have to get certified and what this process actually means to you. Derek did a wonderful job of giving you a great synopsis of who NMSDC is and really why we're there. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time to give you that background and history. But I am going to move us forward into why now and why this. And so NMSDC was developed 50 years ago as a direct result of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Let's fast forward 50 years, and now we had the murder of George Floyd. You continue to see history repeat itself, and so the only way to change that history is if we make the change that we want to see. And in order to be able to do that, you got to play the game, right? So we don't write the rules, but we can definitely change the rule. And how we do that is to actively get you engaged in supplier diversity and in these procurement channels to make larger businesses, sustainable businesses, create generational wealth so we change the narrative for us, by us. And that's really what NMSDC is all about. We are looking at creating economic parity for underutilized communities of color, specifically Black-owned businesses, Hispanic-owned businesses, Asian Indian, Asian Pacific, and Native American. So if we look at changing the racial wealth gap, one of our regional councils in Michigan actually created a study. And in that study, they said that it will take 333 years for us to reach economic parity if our corporations continue to do the same things that traditionally they've been doing. I don't know about you, but I don't want crino. I don't want to be here 333 years. I want to make improvement now, today. I want to be very intentional and purposeful about where I spend my money and what I do in order to make that impact, to make it better for my children. So the really rally cry that we're saying today is we want to make a substantial change, and we want to hold our corporations accountable and say, if you do 1%, pledge 1% year over year to increase the number of businesses that you are doing business with, we can close this racial wealth gap in 15 years. 15 compared to 333. That's why this topic is so important today. That's why we talk about certification. And that's why we're talking about how do you really benefit and maximize your opportunity in corporate America's supply chain. So Derek mentioned our goal. I'm going to go through that. But this is what NMSDC actually provides for businesses. We certify, advocate, develop, and connect. So we are meeting you where you are and helping you get to the next level. So our goal is to increase the number of minority entrepreneurs that are interested in doing business with each other and with major corporations, and allow them to actually create this ecosystem to where we're continuing to build upon those businesses and have that sustainability. Too many times it's so lonely at the top. And how you get there and how you make it there isn't necessarily how you have to start or end your journey. And when we talk about in your journey, we're not talking about selling our businesses at a discount because we happen to be led by women and men of color. What we're saying is we are viable businesses, and we have grown it to where we want it to go. We want to exercise the fruits of our labor, and so we're going to sell this business at a premium and maybe decide to start something new. That's our prerogative. But in order to do that, we have to be willing to play the game and tell the story. So how do we advocate? This is a great opportunity. This partnership that we have with Black Enterprise is actually giving you the information to be able to understand how to participate in areas like this. You have a huge infrastructure bill that's coming out and that is going to get billions of dollars in states and communities. How does that information trickle down to us so we understand what we need to do to position ourselves to receive some of that money. Major corporations did a 5-year pledge at the murder of George Floyd to talk about what they were willing to do. How do we hold those firms accountable to ensure that that money is getting to the communities? You know, people talk about mixed messages all the time. They're saying by 2050, we will be the majority. Yes, we will in number, but not in receipts. Let's talk about receipts. Let's be the majority in receipts. And the only way you do that is if you provide us the access to information and opportunities to be able to take advantage of that. That's what certification is and being a part of an organization like this. We are here to help you get the information, take advantage of the opportunities that are available to you, and then in essence help you close that racial wealth gap by actively participating. We develop you. So we have several educational programs that we offer across the network to help you get access and exposure to development opportunities. These are opportunities that I can tell you prior to me coming to NMSDC, I worked for a large consulting firm. My hourly rate was $500 an hour. You get access to this kind of service free with your certification. Right? Some of the councils have presidents that have ran successful supplier diversity programs. They have also worked in corporate America or worked in governmental agencies. You get to develop strategies with those individuals free as a result of your certification. So certification also gives you access and surrounds you with information that's going to help you grow your business to the next level. These are some of the additional programs that NMSDC has to offer. We believe in making connections. Right here today, we have several of our corporate members that came out to actually meet you. You know, one of the biggest things and pitfalls that I see firms do all the time is they actually come up to a corporation and ask them, "Hi, what do you do?" That's the biggest pitfall that an entrepreneur can do, because they don't want a jack of all trades, and they don't want you telling them what they think they want to hear. They want to know, what are you exceptional at? And I would always say, this is one thing if you get nothing else out of my presentation, and this is really directed more so for the women in the audience. Be bold, and don't forget to ask. Several times we leave stuff on the table because we don't ask. And I'm biblical. So we have not because we what? Absolutely. It was already laid the foundation for us. So don't forget to ask. Be really intentional in the conversations that you have and that you're meeting today. Don't overlook a person who may not look the part because you don't know who they know. It's all about your network, is about your net worth. Right? I could be married to the CEO of Shell, but if you don't come up and talk to me, shame on you. Shame on you, because I don't look like I could be married to someone of that caliber. And even if I'm not, they could be my neighbor. But if you don't talk to me, to engage with me, to talk about relationships, then that's how this thing really works. Certification provides you the platform to be able to provide those relationships. And so we're here today to talk about certification. So certification in our organization means that you're able to do business with major corporations across the U.S. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization with 23 affiliates located throughout the U.S., and then we have 5 international partners. And so based on your information and growth revenues, we will actually certify you based upon a particular region. And I think the Pittsburgh region is represented. Did I see it? Yes, yes, yes. Those are my peeps here in Pittsburgh. There they go. Yay! So they actually, if you are located here, in this area, they cover the eastern region. You can contact them and they can help you get certified. But guess what? Based on our partnership that we have with Black Enterprise and with JP Morgan Chase, we will actually pay for your first year of certification. Absolutely, absolutely. So we are that serious and committed about getting you into corporate America's supply chain that we're willing to underwrite the cost. So many people ask, well, I'm already state certified or I'm city certified. Why do I need to be certified with NMSDC? NMSDC is a private sector certification. You want to do business with firms like Target, Shell, Chevron. You're a designer and want to get in Macy's, want to get in Nordstrom's. You want to do business with Nationwide, MasterCard. You want to do business with JP Morgan Chase. All of them are looking for diverse suppliers that are certified so they can count your particular spend within their organization. That's the benefit of NMSDC. It's not just coming in and being able to do business with those corporations. It's also coming in and being able to surround yourself with the expertise needed to really help you grow and develop your firm. Again, that purpose of certification. And then the benefits. So, I always tell firms that there's really a few things that we need to understand. We always talk about the lack of, but I'm going to talk about the purpose of. So we look at organizations like mine because we could provide you with access to capital. Right? One of the reasons why our firms tend to be smaller and leaner than others is because we don't have the access to capital. If you have the access to opportunities, the capital will come. Right? So we have to first get you the access to the opportunity. Then we need to get you to the access to the information. When bids are coming down the pipe and they're happening, we're almost too late. We need the information at the front end to be able to prepare ourselves for when the bid opportunity actually comes. So when we have access to information, we understand what to do when the opportunity comes. And as I said, banks don't like to lend money when you need it, but it's when you don't need it. So you have the ability to get access to capital. All these venture capitalist firms have pledged money into our minority communities. You're seeing the influence in the banks that are actually supporting minority communities. Let's go get that capital, right? Let's look at what do we need to do to ensure we are bankable, to ensure we have the processes that we need in our business, the infrastructure, in order to be able to manage that capital. This is our certification process. We could talk a little bit more in detail, but you'll be able to see that. I think the slides will be made available, so you'll have all this level of specific detail that you'll be able to go through. Our certification criteria basically looks at the ownership and makes sure your firm is 51% owned, managed, and controlled by an ethnic minority who's a U.S. citizen. The purpose of this is we are looking at building generational wealth, right? So it's not about the owner. It's not all about the owner. It's about your community. People of color tend to hire more people of color, and when they are exposed and have a lot of opportunity to the abilities of what they're doing, that brings up the next generation. So I will stop there and actually open it up for questions from the audience to see if you have any questions for me as it relates to certification and the benefit of NMSDC. I think she had a question. No, certification is only based on revenue to know your fees, but it has nothing to do with how you can enter into the organization.
Anybody else?
I think somebody over here had a question.
You mentioned that Black Enterprise is going to pay, or you are going to take care of the first year fees. How does that work?
When you apply for your certification, are you located here?
I'm in Austin.
Texas?
Yeah.
Woo-hoo! I'm a Texan too, Houston. So when I connect you to your particular regional council, then I will tell them that I am reimbursing your fees, and you will pay the fee, and then once you receive your certification, I will send you your fees back. It can take a week up to a couple of months, depending on if you want to be reimbursed by check or ACH.
Okay, and then the second question was, since I'm in Austin, I go to your website to find I don't use this.
You can come right to shalana.williams@nmsdc.org, or you can email me and I will make the connection. Don't go to the website and try to do it yourself. I need to make sure I refer you to the regional council so that they know that I'm going to pay for your fees. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. There is no time frame for what you have to be in business. So you just have to show that it's operational. So I love what Derek said. Everybody has a side hustle. If you want to make your side hustle a legitimate business and earning income that will actually help you get certified, that's exactly what you could get certified. You just have to demonstrate that you are operational and it is running as a business.
I have a question. Right here.
Yes, ma'am.
So what industries do you recommend? Like I do B2B businesses, so I do consulting for fundraising and writing, but I was wondering, is it more recommended if you do like B2C, like you sell on the products to be able to get those government contracts?
Actually, NMSCC was created for a B2B organization. Majority of the firms in our organization, of those 15,000 MBEs, are actually B2B businesses. So we are for all types of businesses. We have everything certified from makeup artists and shoe designers all the way to consulting firms, architect engineers, investment firms. So the type of business that can benefit from NMSDC certification runs the gamut.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning.
It's afternoon somewhere.
Right. My name is Audrice. This is awesome. I'm definitely going to get into this program. But my question, it kind of aligns with the woman back here where she talks about what industry. I'm in real estate. So how does that translate? How does the certifications translate to me as a real estate agent? Now, I did do an LLC for my real estate, so I can be paid there, but how does that translate?
Yeah, so depending on what type of real estate you do and what you're focusing on. If you do right-of-way services, some corporations buy land, right? And there are particular individuals that own property there. And so they need right-of-way services to be able to go to those property owners and tell them we want to, negotiate in buying your land. You have some corporations who actually have property that wants to sell those properties. So they need realtors to be able to do that. It also opens you up to an opportunity of selling to me, or selling to a corporation who have expats who actually need to be able to bring people from their offices somewhere else and locate them somewhere. So relocation services. So it really just depends. You can find your own opportunity. You just have to make it, right? And so I feel like I'm cheating you, but I'll be outside and we could talk through this, right? I can give you several ideas of how your particular service may fit into this. And I'm also very real, right? If we talk about, I do pie in the sky. Well, I'm not too sure we buying pies in the sky right now. But let's see what we can do to make pies on earth, and then maybe we could get to the pie in the sky. So we can talk through that to help you understand what's really practical and feasible now, but maybe we haven't thought of it.
Good afternoon. My name is Corinne Green. I'm the owner and operator of Human Resources Managers on the Move, and we do human resources for small businesses. And unfortunately, I got my certification before hearing this session, but I would like to know a little bit about how do you find those opportunities once you get your certification.
Where are you located?
I'm located here in Philadelphia, and I got certified yesterday through the Enterprise Center. I just got my certificate.
So let's talk offline. Okay, all right.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So I have some of the same question. My name is Tracy Green. I'm the co-founder of Untitled Eyewear.
Mm-hmm.
We just got certified as well in New York, New Jersey, so we got our certificate. But it is overwhelming. How do you, market? Like, I would love to get a veterans contract, right? We want to supply glasses to the military. That's a great deal. How do you market
Who did you get certified with? A private organization or government? Okay, so NMSDC.
Yep.
So
Dora, I don't know if you know Dora.
Yes, of course I
That's
know
our
Dora
girl.
Reddick. Yeah.
So we've been working with her trying to market. We're trying to get Costco's and some of those other things because they do eyewear.
Yes.
So it's just hard to it's just so much out there. And I think it'll be helpful to, how do you narrow it down? How do you focus?
It is. So I definitely say create a strategy, because one of the things that you mentioned is that you want to do business with veterans. That is a different certification than the private sector certification. That's a government certification. So you would want to get certified by the government to be able to go into that lane to talk about doing business with that. But I also tell firms that certification is a smart business decision. Don't run out and get every certification you can unless you're ready to take advantage of it, right? It doesn't help. I always use this analogy, and I'm huge on analogies. And I always use this one. Certification is like a gym membership. As when you get it and you put it on that keychain, you don't instantly start losing weight, right? You got to work at it. You got to go to the gym frequently and often in order to utilize the benefits of your labor. Same thing with certification. It's not good just to have a certificate and then you put it on the wall. Contracts will not automatically come to you. However, it is a way to effectively utilize that certification, and one of those is building that into your strategy. So then it's about, how do I strategize and understand who is on my hit list so I can be specific, intentional in order to target them to ensure I'm doing the right things. And so I can definitely have a conversation with you offline in order to help you start building that and thinking about how do you take advantage of this. Another thing she said is this is overwhelming, and absolutely it is. But guess what? That's why your regional councils are there. That's why we're here, is to help make this big elephant bite-sized chew bites, right? And so just make sure that you're able to reach out to the regional councils to help you support on these initiatives. Well, I would like to thank you for my time here today. I appreciate the engagement, the questions. It was absolutely wonderful to be able to share this information with you. My closing remarks is I want to always encourage you to keep going. It is very difficult to be an entrepreneur. I get paid on the 1st and 15th all the time. That's easy. What isn't easy is going out there and having to kill what you eat. And so I want to encourage you, if no one else does, to actively go out there, do what you do best and you love, and it will monetize for you. Thank you so much.